Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, I am talking about the concept related to Agile methodology. Agile methodology. This concept is very important. So, if you are a software tester, either you are a developer. This concept is very important. Please watch entire video so you will get the clarity about agile process. Okay, so first of all, what is agile? So in the name of the heading, so you identified that name is a methodology. Okay, so it means agile is nothing but one methodology. Okay, so agile is a one methodology for software development. Okay, so to develop one project with the help of agile methodology. Okay, so all team members should follow agile rules. Okay, so in the agile methodology, so first of all, what is that? Agile is a way of application approaching, sorry, not application, approaching project management. Okay, that values what are the values? Flexibility. Okay, next one, collaboration, and it's very important, responsiveness to change. So don't worry about these words, I will explain. Okay, so agile is nothing but approaching project management that values, what are the values? Flexibility, collaboration, and responsiveness to change. So these three words are very common and important in agile methodology. Okay, suppose, imagine a project that's like clay, one clay. Imagine, okay, a project that is like clay. Okay, clay. So agile allows you to shape it as it progresses. Okay, so rather than carving it in stone from the start. Okay, some people understand this example, some people are not. So don't worry, so I'm taking another example. Okay, let's say you are building a new application. Okay, you are building a new application. So with the traditional methods, so traditional method means new methods, you would plan everything upfront and work towards that plan. Okay, so you would plan. So for new application, you would plan you would plan for everything everything about project. So in this context, what is the project is nothing but your new application. Okay, so however, in agile you would break the project into smaller parts. So very important, guys. So in this project, you would break the project into multiple smaller parts. Okay. Here you would you would break the you would break the project into smaller parts. Okay. So this smaller parts is nothing but sprints. So sprints are delivering accurate results at the end of the each sprint. At the end of the each sprint. So each sprint brings you a step closer to final goal. So each sprint should have one goal. So at the final steps, each sprint you a step closer to final goal. So in that sprint, you adapt, learn and adjust course based on the feedback, making the process more flexible and responsiveness to change. Some feedback come from the customer side or stakeholder side. So for every sprint, definitely you should take the feedback from client side. Okay, so based on that feedback, you should work. So please remember this point. For every sprint, you should take the feedback from the customer and learn something and making the process more flexible and responsive to changes. Okay, this is the goal for sprint. Okay, so now let's explore some fundamental principles of agile. Principles of agile. Okay, the first principle is nothing but customer collaboration. Customer collaboration is one of the important principle in agile environment. Okay, so agile puts a premium on involving customers in the development process. So agile puts on involving customers in the development process. So the main reason is seeking their feedback and ensuring the final product meet their needs or not. Okay, so in agile environment, the first principle is customer collaboration, right? So agile puts customers into the development process. So what is the purpose behind that? So should take the feedback. That is the first goal. So every time customer gives some feedback about the project, about the sprint. Okay, so and also another benefit is, so they are directly involving to the development process. They are verifying the final product output at their ends. Okay, so that is the reason customer is a very important person in the agile process or agile methodology. Okay, the next principle is responding to change over following a plan. Okay, so what it means, suppose in some 100 sprints are done in your company for the project. Okay, but so for 100 sprints you should you followed one fixed plan. So but in agile model there is a some advantage. So you can change the process also, and agile welcomes changes and adapts quickly and maximizing the value for the customer. Okay, so and value of the customer also increasing, it means. Okay, so I know I mentioned the point here. So agile welcomes changes and adapts quickly, increasing value for customer, increasing value for customer. Okay, this is the two principles. These are the very important principles in agile. So let's see once again. Okay, so first one is a customer collaboration. Customer collaboration means, so in the agile methodology, customer is also one of the part. Okay, so for what is the reason behind that? So every time team take the feedback from the customer, and also customers directly verifying the final product output. Okay, so they are checking, they check the match with the expected result and actual result also. Okay, so in their mind they have some output, right, about the product. So once the product version is released to the either QA environment or production environment, so they directly check that output of the product. So if it is okay, then they will give the sign off. Oh yes, it is okay, there is no change here. Okay, it is completely perfect for me. So this type of conversation between the team and customers. Okay, so if in case customer not satisfied with that version, okay, immediately raise issue. Okay, that is the reason customer is also one of the main pillar of in agile methodology. The second one is responding to change over following a plan. So I already told some about another models. So in that model, some models are not adapting to the changes. But in agile, uh, changes are allowed, and also for the new change, adapts very quickly. It means very fast. Okay, so so when a methodology adapts anything quickly, so definitely in the project, okay, in the project or product, that product value is increasing. So whenever product value is increasing, customer value also increasing. Okay, so that is the reason these two principles are very important, guys. Okay, so that is about principles of agile. So now the next concept is frameworks in agile environment. Okay, so there are frameworks like Scrum and Kanban. So the teams used to manage their work by using these frameworks in agile. Okay, so Scrum emphasize teamwork. Okay, regular meetings known as sprints. So in software development, we divide the projects into small parts. That small parts is nothing but sprints. Okay, so and achieving specific goals within set of time frames. So in Scrum we have some time frames like 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. So there is some certain amount of time period is there in Scrum. But what is about Kanban? Kanban focuses on visualizing work on the board. Okay, limiting work in progress and ensuring a steady flow of tasks. So it is please fixed in your mind. So about this point. Okay, scrum is scrum is achieving specific goals within set of time frames. So set of time frames. So Coming to the Kanban, so it is visualizing work on board. Visualizing work on board. Okay, so in Agile, so that is about frameworks. So don't worry. In this video, I will discuss about the Scrum topic only, not about Kanban. Okay, so because Scrum is very important nowadays. So many companies are using this Scrum concept. Okay, so that is the reason I will discuss in this video. Don't worry. So next one is Agile is it is a combination of iterative and incremental. Agile is combination of iterative, incremental approach. Okay, so why it is called as iterative and incremental? So in Agile, being iterative means breaking down the project into smaller. So iterative, first of all, iterative. Okay, so iterative means what? Breaking down the project into smaller parts. These manageable parts are nothing but sprints. Iterations or sprints. Okay, so each iteration, so for each iteration, it involves a cycle of planning. So each iteration, so they have some plan. It has some planning. Okay, it has some planning. Like first of all, planning. Planning is the one part, right? Planning, execution, and evaluation. Evaluation. So suppose it's like a one puzzle is there. So please um, listen this point. So after that, definitely you understand this concept. So one puzzle is there. First of all, you start with a puzzle with small pieces, right? So gradually assembling them to create a bigger picture, right? So the same concept. So think of it the same way. Okay, instead of trying to tackle the entire project at once, right? Agile divides it into some parts. Okay, for example, if you are developing a software application, each iteration might focus on adding specific features or functionality. Okay, let's say for example, imagine you are creating a mobile application. So mobile application, so in the first iteration you might develop some basic interfaces like login page. Okay, login page, sign up page, forgot password, forgot password. Okay, some basic authentication features also available for mobile application, right? So then in subsequent iterations you add features like profile settings, payment options, and so on. Each iteration builds upon the previous one, gradually assembling and expanding the product. Okay, right? So now you understand the concept. So this is the iteration process. So I am repeating once again. So imagine you are creating one mobile application. Okay, in the first iteration. So in the first iteration means first sprint. Okay, So in the sprint, all members are included, developers, testers, managers, and management team also involved. Okay. So in the first iteration, you might develop some login, some basic functionalities like login, sign up, forget password, and basic user login functionalities. Okay. Then in subsequent iterations, you add some features like payments, profiles, dashboard, so on. For each iteration, build upon the previous one, gradually assembling and expanding the product. Okay, this is nothing but iterative process. So now I am talking about the incremental process. So incremental. So the now let's talk about the incremental aspect of agile. Okay, incremental development means delivering usable functional portions of the product at the end of the each iteration. Okay, so at the end of the each iteration, so I am repeating the same point, I am noted down also. Incremental development means delivering usable functional portions of the product, functional portions of the product uh, at the end of each sprint. Okay, so instead of waiting for the entire project to be completed, so agile delivers value continuously throughout the development process. So same example, I am taking the same example, so after that you will get the clarity. Okay, so after each iteration for mobile application, you have a working version of the application with new features are added for each sprint. So please remember this point, for each sprint some new features are added to your project. Okay, this allows for early feedback from the stakeholders and users, verifying the product aligns with their needs or not. Okay, the beauty of iterative and incremental approach in agile is flexibility and adaptability. So it enables teams to respond to changes, incorporate feedback, and make improvements continuously. So continuously improvements are there, development is there, and feedback is also is there in agile environment. So this is the concept, it's very important, and also one of the most interview question. So what is about iterative and incremental approach in agile environment? Can you please explain with an example? So this is the example for this iterative and incremental approach. Okay, suppose for instance, if a user preference change or new requirement emergency purpose during the development. Okay, so one requirement is customer give the one wrong requirement for the team, but customer realize that that is the wrong requirement, immediately inform to the team. So but already 50% development is completed. Okay, so in agile, team can easily adjust their plans in the next iteration without disturbing the entire project timeline. This is very important. This is the beauty of the concept of agile. So there you have it. So agile iteration and incremental approach allows for continuous improvement, adaptability to change, and early value delivery. So it is like building a structure brick by brick, refining and enhancing it as you go. Okay, so this is about agile. Okay, now I want to discuss one important interview question: agile versus waterfall model. Agile versus waterfall model. So this one is also very important, guys, in interview point of view. Okay, so first point about agile. So agile is like a um, it contains some iterative cycles. Okay, so where development occurs in smaller increments, allowing for flexibility and adaptability to change. It is all about constant feedback. So it is completely depend on constant feedback, collaboration, and delivering value in short time of period. Okay, so simply I'm writing like this: agile like a series of iterative cycles. Okay, so coming to the waterfall model. So waterfall model follow the sequential approach. There is no backtracking. So you already know, in my channel video also available. Please watch that video. So I'm after after complete this video, I will mention in the description also. Okay. So waterfall model is for waterfall model follows a systematic linear approach. Linear approach or sequential approach, both are same. Okay, so the third point is about again agile. Okay, so every environment, every model, some collaboration is important, team collaboration is important, feedback is also important. So same point, again the same point, team collaboration is important, very very. Okay, team collaboration occurs for each sprint. Okay, team collaboration occurs for each sprint. So in the sprint, focusing on the small parts about project functionalities. Okay, so in the waterfall model, each phase, so you already know, each phase is completed before moving to the next sprint. Each phase is completed before moving to the next sprint. Okay, so the fifth point is about agile. So in an agile environment, you might start with some basic features. I already told. So login, sign up, forgot. Basic features. Basic, I'm simply write features on starting stage of project or product. Okay, so in coming to the waterfall model, changes made lately in the process can be difficult and costly. Okay, difficult and costly. So if in case one issue come after release to the customer, so it can, agile environment can easily handle that, but waterfall is not. So it is very very difficult and it is also costly. Okay, so if suppose if there is a change in the requirement after design the phase, it may require going back to the beginning, impacting the entire project timeline. So that is the one of the disadvantage in the waterfall model. Okay, so that's it. So now I'm talking about the agile process. So agile process is all depending on the breaking down the project into smaller, breaking down project into smaller So these smaller parts is nothing but, what is that, sprints. Okay, so imagine you have tasked with creating mobile application for a travel agency. In the agile process, instead of aiming to build the entire app at once, you will work in some short focused on iterations. So now you divide the entire project into smaller parts. So these iterations is nothing but sprint, you already know. Let's say your first sprint focusing on the travel agency app, basic functionalities like user authentication, login. So I already told, sign up, forgot password. Okay. So and some home page displaying travel app. Okay, travel agency app. Okay, the beauty of agile is lies in its flexibility. At the end of each sprint, you have working piece of the app ready for review. Some part is ready for the review, guys. Guys, every at the end of the sprint, you get some output about the application. Okay. Now here is where agile truly shines. So the answer is feedback. You present the functional portion of the application to stakeholders and users for the input. Okay, based on their feedback, you can adapt and pivot and then make necessary changes for the next sprint. So not the current sprint. The current sprint is not disturbed. Okay, so any changes, like any changes or any problems, so for the next sprint only, so they take the feedback and implement that changes into the next sprint. Okay, for example, user might request additional features or suggest some improvements to the user interface. Okay, suggest some user interface, UI. Okay, in the next sprint, you incorporate these changes and build upon the what you have already developed. So you already developed something, but you apply the customer changes on what you have already developed. Okay, let's say the feedback suggests user want a search feature to find the specific destinations easily. For the travel agency, I am talking purely about travel agency application. So that in that way I am talking, please catch my point. Okay, so let's say the feedback suggests user want a search feature to find specific destination easily. So agile allows you to integrate these new changes requirements without disturbing the entire project plan. Some project plan is there, but by using this agile process or agile methodology, without disturbing the entire project, you can integrate with the new changes also. Okay, this cycle is continuously repeated again and again, sprint after sprint, delivering small increments of the application. So gather the feedback. So what is that, I noted down here. So please note in your notebook also, sprint after sprint. Okay, sprint after sprint, delivering small increments. Okay, small increments and gathering feedback. Okay, and making improvements. So here each iteration brings you closer to the final product. Okay, so for each iteration brings you closer to the final product, verifying that the application aligns more closely with the user needs and preferences. Okay, and this is the complete explanation about agile process. So you can break down the project into smaller parts is nothing but sprints. So every time you every time at the end of the sprint, you should definitely take the feedback from the customer side and take the feedback and apply the changes into the next sprint, sprint after sprint. So for every sprint you should deliver some output to the customer. Okay, every sprint application will grow. Okay, so this is the agile process, guys. So now I am talking about the concept of Scrum. Okay, Scrum is also a team sport. Okay, it is the one of the framework in agile. Okay, so where everyone works together in the short means small. Okay, focused on cycles. So mainly focused on cycle means sprints. Okay, so imagine you are part of a software development team. So you are a software development team. You are a software development team. So the task is creating the online shopping platform. Online platform. Okay, so in that platform, let's now break down the Scrum key components using this example. So here my example is online shopping platform, guys. First of all, Scrum has some roles within the team. Okay, so after that we will discuss with this example. Okay, so first one is product owner. Product owner. So product owner represents stakeholders' interests, prioritize tasks, and ensure the team is building what the customer needs. So product owner represents, what is that? Interests of stakeholders. So the next next point is prioritizes tasks. The third point is customer needs. Customer needs. So product owner so represents these three points, guys. Okay, so the next one is Scrum Master. Okay, Scrum Master. So the Scrum Master facilitate the entire Scrum process. Okay, so Scrum process and also um, remove some obstacles. Okay, and also support the team in achieving their goals. Support to the team. Support to the team. So by end of this video, I will give the clarity on this product owner and Scrum Master very quickly. Okay, don't worry, guys. Okay, the development team consists some professionals responsible for delivering the product increment. So in the agile environment and at the same time in the Scrum, we have two roles. One is a product owner and Scrum Master is there. So product owner take the interests from the stakeholders and also product owner prioritize the tasks and also pick the they also know the they also get the customer needs. Okay, so Scrum Master, so he or she, okay, they are facilitate the entire Scrum process and some remove some obstacles in the sprint. Okay, and also every time support to the team for achieving their goals. Okay, so and also one more point, so in the development team some professionals is also there, right, for delivering the product increment. These two members also is a very plays crucial role in the agile environment. Okay, so now I want to tell some important words, that is product backlog. Okay, so in Scrum, work is managed through product backlog. Please remember in your mind. Okay, work is managed through a product backlog. Okay, so what is product backlog? So it is nothing but some prioritized list is there in the backlog. Prioritized list of tasks or user stories. Okay, available in the product backlog. Let's say in your online shopping application, one user story might be, so user story is nothing but functionality. Okay, so implement the by option. Okay, this is the story heading. So in that story we have some information about that functionality, don't worry. Okay, so this type of stories or tasks are available in the product backlog. Okay, product backlog. The next one is sprint planning execution. So what it means? So now it is one of the important concept also. Okay, at the beginning of the each sprint, the team gets together to select the tasks from product backlog. Suppose in the product backlog 100 user stories are available. Okay, 100 user stories are available. So at the beginning of the each sprint, team pick the tasks from the product backlog to work during the sprint. Suppose here 10 tasks are taken. 10 tasks are taken. Okay, so these tasks are the moved to the sprint backlog. Okay, these 10 tasks are moved to the sprint backlog. Okay, let's say your team decide to focus on implementing this by option. Okay, during the current sprint, which lasts say 2 weeks, the sprint time is 2 weeks. Throughout the sprint, the team collaborates, break down the tasks and coding, testing and making necessary adjustments. Okay, the next one is sprint review and retrospective. So this is the one of the agile interview question, and at the same time some of the software testers also received this question from interviewer. Okay, what is retrospective meeting? Retrospective meeting. Okay, so what it means? So here some list is there about the user stories. This is nothing but product backlog, right? So sprint planning and execution stage, we have a actually here we pick the 10 tasks for the sprint developing. Okay, so the sprint time is 2 weeks. These 10 tasks are moved into the sprint backlog. So in this stage, break down the tasks and coding, testing and making necessary adjustments also is there here. Okay, so all phases are completed here. Sprint planning and execution is there. Planning is there and execution is there, right? So in this case, developers, testers, business analysts, all members are involved. Okay, the final step is sprint review and retrospective. What it means? So at the end of the sprint, it's time for the sprint review and retrospective. Okay, during the sprint review, during the sprint review, the team showcases the completed work to stakeholders and gather feedback. So here, a review completed work, show the completed work to holders and gathers feedback. Okay, so this is the review process. What is nothing but retrospective? Retrospective, the team reflects on what went well. So in the retrospective, so team uh, reflects on what went well. So please note down in your notes what went well. Okay, what went well, and what could be improved. Okay, and also take the and also take the and also take the and also identify, not taking, and also identify some action items, for the next sprint. This meeting is different, sprint review meeting is different, and retrospective meeting is different. Okay, in the sprint review, show the completed work in the current sprint to the stakeholders and gather their feedback. Okay, coming to the retrospective, meeting, so in that meeting we should talk about what went well, and what could be improved for the next sprint, and identify some action items for the next sprint. Okay, so I'm talking about completely again talking about this product backlog. Okay, so product backlog is like your to-do list, guys, containing all the tasks, features, and user stories. Okay, that need to be completed for the application. Okay, so for instance, the product backlog might include user stories like online, implement the buy option. Okay, and add some such functionality. Okay, these items are prioritized by the product owner. So product backlog handled by product owner. Okay, so these items are prioritized by the product owner based on the customer needs, business value, and feedback. So moving to the sprint backlog. So let's say your team has selected tasks from the product backlog for specific sprint. Okay, this story selected from the product backlog. Okay, this sprint backlog represents subset of items from the product backlog. Okay, the team commits to completing the during the sprint. So in the sprint backlog, only committed items is there for completing during the sprint. Okay, so for instance, if your sprint goal is to enhance the app search functionality and implementing the buy option, so task related to the goal will be included in the sprint backlog. Okay, and also focusing on some increments. After each sprint, the team produces a potential shippable increment. Okay, a working and usable version of the product. Okay, for example, after sprint focused on the implementing user authentication or implementing the buy option or adds some such functionality. So in that user authentication, the increment might include the login feature ready for the testing and review. Okay, This is about the product owner. Okay, Scrum Master, product backlog, and sprint planning and execution, and sprint review and retrospective. So now I want to discuss beautiful concept. Concept is burn down chart. So what is that? So a burn down chart is a graphical representation. So a graphical representation. So that shows the remaining work in the sprint. Remaining work in the sprint. For instance, at the start of the sprint, the burn down chart shows higher amount of work. So here the work shows in points. Okay, so in the burn down chart we have 100 points for this sprint. Okay, for each task. So here we have some tasks or user stories, right? For each task we have points based on the priority, and efforts from testing team and development team. Based on the efforts and based on the priority, so we should take the points. Suppose we have a 10 points, we have a 10 stories. For each story we have a 10 points, let's assume. So total 100 points. So burn down chart shows higher amount of work remaining. So as tasks are completed, the chart burn downs towards zero. So ideally meeting the sprint goal by the end. So if the burn down chart is zero, sprint is completed. Okay, and there you have it. So it is the some artifacts about the Scrum team plan, tracking progress, and deliver value incrementally. Okay, in some in Scrum process, okay, in Scrum process efficiently organize their work and they deliver incremental value and adapt to change swiftly. Okay, so now I want to discuss about with the sprint planning. So I'm explaining theoretically. So imagine you are a part of a software development team tasked with building a new feature for an application. I already told so many times with this example. During the sprint planning, the team gathers to select tasks from the product backlog. So I am repeated once again. Okay, to work on the during the upcoming sprint. For example, the team might decide to focus on the developing the login functionality for the application in the next sprint. Okay, this is the sprint process, guys. This is the sprint process. So the sprint process starts with product backlog and sprint planning and execution, sprint review and retrospective. Okay, so endpoint is retrospective. So please remember in your mind. So I want to tell about daily stand-ups. Daily stand-ups. So in every company, they are conducting every day one meeting. That is nothing but daily stand-up meeting. Okay. So these meetings are nothing but daily stand-up meetings or daily scrum meetings. Each day during the sprint, the team holds a short stand-up meeting to sync up the discuss progress, challenges, and plans in that meeting. For an instance, in our application development scenario, during a daily stand-up, during daily stand-up, team members might share updates on completing the user authentication tasks or any obstacles they are facing. Okay, and also yesterday work and today works also. Okay, as the sprint concludes, it's time for the sprint review. I already told. Okay, so it show the complete work to stakeholders and gather from the feedback from their end. Okay, for example, the team shows implementing the login feature to stakeholders, allowing them to test it and provide input for improvements. Okay, so in the sprint retrospective meeting, After the each sprint review, the team conducts a sprint retrospective to reflect on what went well, what could be improved, and identify some actions for the next sprint goal. Okay. For instance, team members might discuss the challenges faced during the development process and testing process, and any such as some technical issues, okay, or communication gaps, and brainstorms way to address them in the upcoming sprints. Okay, this is about agile and scrum process, guys. This is very very important for software testers and developers also. Okay, if you like this video, please like my video and subscribe to my channel. So see you in the next video.